tell the truth and stay safe. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? I'ma tell the truth and stay safe. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? I'ma tell the truth and stay safe. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? I'ma tell the truth and stay safe.
Demons are real, and they be attracted to how you be feeling, love.
I'ma tell the truth.
What it do, people? What it do? What's going on? How's everybody out there in the land of the living? I hope everybody's doing well. I hope you had a wonderful week. But yeah, today actually is the first day of the week. So with that said, man, I would like to welcome each and every one of you to another edition of the Tell the Truth and Stay Saved show. That's right, the Tell the Truth and Stay Saved show. Y'all know that boy, I've been doing this for a minute now, and you know, I love that. You know, I love it. I love it. I love to tell the truth and stay safe. Look, man, we got an exciting show for you today. For you today. First of all, you know your boy doing good because you know my Dirty Birds are up 23-3. I know some of y'all haters out there hating on my Birds, but you know me. If you know me, I am a die-hard Falcons fan. But nevertheless, we're not talking about the Falcons on today. Look, man, I need you to do me a big favor. Right now, man, if you are an entrepreneur, or if you are an author, or you're thinking about writing a book and you want some information on how to write books, how to go through the process, if you have a vision for doing things with nonprofits, if you have a desire to work with the youth, or you have some troubled teens that you may have questions or how to deal with them, especially in the days that we're living in, you want to go get your pens and your paper right now, because I have an exciting guest on today. Not only is this brother, not only he's just a brother, you know, he's not a dumb brother. This is a brother that's got some paperwork to follow behind him. And we're going to get into that once we get a little bit into the program. He's not only a beloved brother of mine, but I come to find out this joker is an author. He's an entrepreneur. Hey, if you got a cheating spouse, he even does some private investigative work. So like I say, man, it's a very exciting show, man, we got going on today. And I'm going to tell you, man, you don't want to miss the show on today, man. You don't want to miss the show on today. So I'm going to see if my brother is ready, man. And we're going to go ahead on and get this thing started, man. Like I said, once again, man, we like to welcome each and every one of you to Tell the Truth and Stay Saved show. That's right. Tell the truth and stay saved. So without further ado, I think my brother is ready. Studio One, you ready?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's going on, my brother?
All right. We got Studio One in. Ladies and gentlemen, got a slight technical difficulties. Here we go. There he is. We got him in the building. What it do, Big Virgil? How you doing, sir?
Hey, brother, what's going on, man? How's everything?
Man, everything is well, man. Everything is well, man. Once again, man, I thank you, man. I know you got a real busy schedule, man. So I thank you for joining the show. Like y'all seen on the screen, this is Mr. Virgil Brannon. Not only is he an author, but he is an entrepreneur. He's done a lot of things. So I'll just move on out the way, and I'll let my brother give you some insight on him. Go ahead, Mr. Brandon, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, like you said earlier, entrepreneur, I engage myself in several different businesses around Atlanta with helping and assisting other people with their business and things like that. I have a private investigation company. I have a doctor's office that I finance. It's different things. A marketing company called A Branding Opportunity. You can go to that website. I have a professional speaking business that I do, going out and speaking to the public about different types of subjects based off the two books that I have.
Wow.
So I just try to keep it busy.
I see. And let me say once again, sir, thank you so much for taking time out to come onto this little platform, man. You sound busy, so you rattling off, and I'm sitting here like, man, this dude's got 16 jobs. Yes, sir.
Hey man, just trying to, brother. You know that trying to pursue my God-gifted abilities.
That's right. That's right. That's right. My wife was just talking about that. You know, getting busy and doing what God has called you to do. But look here, man. I wanted to get you on a little bit earlier, a couple months ago, I think, right before the election, because I know that the political arena is something that is one of your babies. It's one of those things that you deal with, right?
Right.
And so I definitely wanted to get you on the show so we could talk about, get your perspective on some things. But before we get into the political aspect, let's go here right quick. I'm gonna put something up on the screen, and I know you may not be able to see it, but our viewers can see this, and I want to ask you some questions because I saw these things and I'm like, my brother is real busy. So let me ask him about this, because I know you did one thing. You wrote, I know you have written 2 books, and but I as I was doing a little bit more research on you, I saw that you had actually, is it a total of 4 books?
Actually, it's 3.
Okay.
The other one's
Okay. Okay.
But I started out with Make Them Remember You, and then ended up changing the beneficiary. Because it kind of sound off a little bit better than the direction I was going into.
Okay, and I have it up on the screen here. Y'all can take a look at it. It's called Make Them Remember You. Live Your Legacy Now. Now, I'm kind of upset because y'all see now, I got my copies. And both of my copies are signed, and we'll get into where you can get his products and support him a little later on. But I want to ask you about writing. How did you come about getting into writing, man? Because that's something, to me, it's not easy to write.
It's funny because I was just talking to my son about it, and it's this. I never had it in my plans in life to even write a book, first and foremost.
Okay.
Writing was something, when I met my wife, actually, she was the writer.
Oh.
And so I was amazed by her inability to want to write.
Uh-huh.
And so it didn't start to me till 2007. I just started, at one point I went to the doctor. Doctor told me, hey, you I think you might be losing your memory, right? Uh-huh. This is the weirdest thing. Yes, where I'm going with this is weird. And so I just started to write down my notes. So I said, well, anything that I need to remember, I'm just going to write down everything. I'm just going, and I used, at the time, that first book, actually, I wrote that first book with my BlackBerry.
What?
I did everything on.
Now this is to make them remember you.
Right. Well, the beneficiary, the brown one that you have in your hand. Beneficiary, live your legacy now. Yeah, that one there. That's the but not that one. The other one, Democratic Coma, was the one I wrote.
Okay, with the BlackBerry. Gotcha.
Right, believe it or not. And so I was just writing my notes, man, just trying to remember things. And at the time when I started writing, I don't know if you remember Jenna 6 back in Jenna, Louisiana.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That scenario there, I was marching with Al Sharpton and a lot of other brothers.
Wait a minute. Leave Al alone now, because we're going to talk about him a little later. I'm glad you brought that up. Well, go ahead and finish, because I got something that I want to pull up. I got a little slide I want to pull up, and I want to ask you about it, because like I said, when I was doing my research, some things came up, and I was like, hey, matter of fact, since you got, let me take this book on down. And I know it was going to be later on in the broadcast, but since you brought Mr. Sharpton up, let's go ahead on and talk about that. I know you can't see it, but the people can see it on the screen. And it was a little card that was on the site, and it talked about Mr. Sharpton blows his top after Virgil Brannon slams him over debt ceiling. No.
Wow.
What? Yeah, Yeah, now I started to pull up some clips from that little debate because I remember a while ago you and Mr. Sharpton did a debate together, if I'm not mistaken. Is that not correct?
Well, no, that was actually the president of Georgia Tech and Maui Davis. We were all on a panel.
On a panel discussion, that's right.
Together.
Mm-hmm.
It's a show that I can't think of right off the head what it was, but all three of us was there talking about the whole level of what was that?
Now, was it the national debt ceiling, or was it a state debt ceiling? What y'all doing on a local, or was it federal?
No, that debt ceiling scenario was just a situation whereas after I had marched with Al Sharpton and saw exactly what he was about and the things that he was doing that I didn't think he had Black folks' best interests, I started to challenge him, and I started calling his show, challenging him on why. Because one of the questions I had asked him, I told him, hey, I got the answer to what we need to do to get, if we're going to get Black folks together and get the whole essence of Black unity together, then I got the answer. So he was like, we can't do anything until we get we get this race thing started.
Okay.
I mean, until we stop racism. Well, they're never going to stop. So when are we going to do that? So it was at that one moment that
now listen,
I realized he was.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say to the audience, and you got to know what you know, and you got to know that you know what you know if you're going to confront Mr. Sharpton. Because, I don't know him personally per se, but Mr. Sharpton is not a dummy. He's a very educated man, right?
Some say.
I would say, well, he appears to be, and like they say in some circles, perception goes a long way. So to me, he appears to be a very intellectual, not necessarily scholastic, but he's not a dummy. Did not he graduate from Morehouse?
Well, let's agree that yes, he is an intelligent man.
There we go.
So much so that he's intelligent enough to know that racism is a business, and so when you talk about the level of racism, it's a business created to implant fear into Black folks to make us believe that somehow we're going to be a certain way towards the government. We're going to come and we feel like at that point we start to depend on the government for assistance. So a lot of our Black leaders saw that same token and said, okay, we're going to use this too. In order for us to build our power and followers, we're going to use that same platform. We're going to go through the process of making them believe that, that somebody is trying to take something away from you. So if somebody's trying to take something away from you, you need protection.
Yeah.
And so, right. And so that's kind of like how that kind of went about. But I mean, it's real deep. We can go deep into it, but I'm just trying to stay on the cover. Follow your lead, but I mean,
I mean, we just, like we said, like we talk pre-production, we just let the Spirit and the Lord lead us into, wherever we go. But like I said, I definitely wanted to get you on prior to the election, because I knew that the political arena is something kind of like your baby. And I definitely want to get, ask you some questions and get your opinions on some things. And since we're on that subject right now, let me get your opinion on that. First of all, are you a voter?
Yes, I am.
Okay, now, the next question I'm going to ask, you don't have to disclose if you don't want to, but just for the sake of people that are watching, are you a Dem or are you a Republican? Are you a Libertarian or are you a Tea Party or are you an Independent?
Well,
you don't have to disclose that. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want the constituents mad at you.
No, I think people need to know. I think people should know, and I guess I'm gonna go ahead and be on a straight and on.
Tell the truth and stay saved now.
Let the cuffs off.
Okay.
So let's put it this way. I vote Republican, and I'll tell you the reason why I vote Republican. That's the most important thing.
Okay.
And so we have to understand that what happens is we don't know the difference between the two parties. Some people don't. Most of us don't. And so one party, when you talk about it from a Republican standpoint, we got to understand what that means. That means that it's about independence. It's about a person independently doing things for themselves. It's also about freedom. And so anything lines up that stands for freedom, meaning free for you as an individual to do whatever you feel you can do, you want to do and can do without the government telling you what you can't do.
Hold on. I'm gonna have to stop you on this one because I hear some of my Christian brethren, I hear some of my Hebrew brethren, I hear people in my ear in the religious arena saying, boy, that sounds like some of that Aleister Crowley stuff. That sounds something like that do what thy wilt type of stuff. Now, I understand that it may not be, but just from somebody that doesn't really know, that's what it sounds like to me. You know, you want the freedom to be able to do whatever the Hades you want to do. That's not what you're saying, is it?
No. Understand what I'm trying to see. Politics is all about policy. And so, and those who enact those policies are politicians. And so policy dictates the direction of which way the country goes. Policy is the ability for you to understand if you're gonna how you can achieve a certain goal or what the many opportunities may be there for you. Now, understand, let me go back to the Democratic Party. Democratic Party has always been about government doing for people. Understand, God gave all of us independent individual rights, gifts, talents, and great abilities for each one of us to go out there and pursue our talents, our dreams, as long as nobody else restrict you. Now, let's jump in slavery now. Slavery was basically a point of somebody restricting you. Typically, the government restricting you from having what you want or doing what you want. So if I had a gift to become a business owner, or if I was any of our ancestors that created inventions, if the government comes in and tell me that's not my invention, or I got to let somebody else take the ownership of that and I ride behind them, then that's not me living in America as free. Free meaning that I can take whatever I have and I can implement it without somebody restricting me. Understand this right here. Let me make sure I want to make sure you understand where I'm coming from. The only thing we solely own here in this world is our thoughts. Understand, our thoughts is where our ideals, our creativity, what makes us different, what makes us, what separates us from everybody else. So when I come to a point and I said, I got an idea for a business that I want to pursue and create, those are my ideas, those are my dreams. And so now, if you're talking about a government comes in and tell me as I've built my dream of, which is this business that I had in mind, you tell me, well, I'm going to restrict you from that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop you from trying to manufacture, or I'm going to charge you taxes on a manufacturer. I'm going to charge you for production. I'm going to charge you all these different taxes. Let's say I'm going to charge you for, a certain level of whatever you make, I get a part of it. So let's say that there was a tax 41%. That means the government is taking $41 out of every $100 you make. That means $59 is yours. So now, understand what I'm saying to you. So as in a world of a point of being a free man, let's say it that way.
Okay.
And if that lines up with the Republican Party, that means this part is saying, okay, I'm not going to tax you high. I'm not going to tax you. I'm going to tax you low. Typically, you know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to tax you at all. So that's the part I want to be on, where I can pursue my dreams, my gift, my talents, and my unique ability, because that's what God gave me. You understand? So but see, what happens is the D Party has came to the point where they want to penalize people for their thoughts, what they own. You understand what I'm saying? So,
yes, sir.
So that's the thing I'm saying. So we want to look at, why would I be set in a party where it's restricting my gift?
Well,
And so not all of
it
us
sounds like a little
are dependent.
it
I want
sounds
to be independent.
it sounds a little socialistic to me. I mean, help me, because
You're breaking up on that.
I said it sounds like it's a little socialistic to me.
Right, right. And so that's what Democratic Party is. It's a socialist environment that tells people that they are restricted, that the government is your only help. The only person that can help you out your whatever situation you're in. But technically, God is the one that free man from his ability to do whatever he wants to. But we have been restricted based on the fact of party.
Now, I'm sorry. Now help me out a little bit, because this is still, I don't vote. So let me put this out there. I'm not a voter, so for whatever reasons. But to my understanding, did not majority of black folks vote Republican, or didn't it switch at one point in time?
We having some trouble hearing each other.
Okay.
One more time.
Did at one point in time, let me start off asking this. In your estimation, out of the percentage of Afro-Americans here in the United States, how many is it that vote Democrat than it is that vote Republican?
Bad connection. Can you hear me? If you can hear me,
I can hear you fine. Can you hear me well?
Yeah. When you speak, you're breaking up for some reason or another. I'm hearing little bits and pieces of you.
Okay.
But if I heard you right, I think you mentioned something about at one point black folks voted Republican. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm asking. At some time, did not the majority of the black vote switch from one party to another?
Right, exactly. But let me say this. See, and the reason being was all based off of economics. See, our problem is that we don't have an economic infrastructure that's put in place for us to try to build upon. We thinking for some reason or another, only people that God gave gifts and talent to was white people. You know what I'm saying? But that's not the fact here. So right. Now understand that if you go from what I'm going on the basis of what I'm saying is that, well, let's go where we're going. So I won't get too far away from the point you're trying to make. Yes, one time or another, we did vote Republican. And the reason why we was voting Republican, because we were doing exactly what I'm saying to you now. We were building, and we were building an economic infrastructure that was so powerful that we had our own community that we were buying into that circle. And so because we were buying into that particular circle, we were spending money amongst ourselves. See, the problem is right here today, we're not even claiming the equity that we have in America. And so what I mean by that is that we have a certain much of a value here that we're not even taking a part of, because we're sitting here relying on the government to give us something. Now, don't get me wrong, some of us need help, but a lot of us are so talented and so gifted, man. If we just do an inch of following our dream, man, so much that will flourish amongst that. It's just outstanding the way I see that.
Man, you talking good, sir. You talking good. So let me ask you this.
I don't know why.
I have no idea either. I have no idea, man. We were recording good, and all of a sudden, I guess somebody don't want this information to get out. I'm not gonna be super spiritual here, but what came first for you? The interest in politics or the interest in writing?
One more time. Say that one more time.
What came first for you? The interest in writing or the interest in politics?
Before I sat down and started writing the book, I was at a certain point in my life because I felt like I had tried everything, and I was so disappointed about what happened in Gina, Louisiana. And I was just frustrated. I even had my son at the time. He's 20. Well, at the time he's 10 to now, and today he's 22. And we had traveled down that way. So what inspired me was what I saw. And I was so frustrated that I was like, man, what is hindering us? what is it that's going on with us? The reason why we can't flourish in America? What's hindering our success? And so as I started to write down those things that I saw, I started to unfold what was really happening. And what I realized, the first thing came to mind, which in one of those chapters in Democratic Coma is called Our Leaders. It was our leaders that did. It was our leaders. Our leaders was not doing their job. They was misinforming us. They were not directing us on so many different things. Let me give you an example. Can you hear me good enough? You hear me, brother?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You sound real good.
Okay. Okay. So let me tell you what's happening. So here it is. Our leaders. Why is it that all the leaders that's so-called on TV and on radio have a degree? They've been to college to have a degree, but then they act as if they are in poverty. But yet they rely on the people to keep them standing, to help them maintain their success and their riches. So our leaders are, go ahead.
Man,
you got ready to say something?
You sound
break
like
this thing down.
You sound as if how we would say sound like, Israel. When we look at, and I'm not trying to go spiritual here, but I'm gonna go there anyway. It seems like the nation of Israel fell a lot, and that's us. That's a whole different broadcast because of bad and corrupt leadership.
Right. Yep. That's our issue. Go ahead.
Go ahead and continue.
So the leadership that we have are people that are not on our level. It's just like Tavis Smiley and Cornel West came out with a book, The Rich and the Rest of Us. Now, if you think about the title of the book itself, don't even make any sense. The rich, he's talking about the rich and the rest of us. They're rich. They're not the rest. They're not in the rest of us. You know what I'm saying? But see, what happens is, you got to understand is that racism is a business. And so amongst that business, it consists of fear. And so as long as I keep you in fear, that means you depend on me. And if I depend on you, that disable me from pursuing my dreams and my gifts. You understand what I'm saying? And so what they have done is told us that nothing can save you. The only thing can save you is go vote. But now we've been voting for many years now. We're still in the same place. We're still a minority in this country. How in the world over all these years we still a minority in this country? And the only thing that pulls you out of this minority spot is the economics. We're not pursuing any economics opportunities. Now, and that's the bottom line.
Let me stop you on that. You mean as a collective body? Because I'm sure that there are several would argue the point that they are, in fact, seeking an economic empowerment for them and their families. So we're talking about as a nation of people, correct?
You're breaking up, and I think I'm hearing you correctly. Some people think that, okay, we all have to be together. No, we don't all have to be together, because somebody has to be selfish in order to be able to get here to pull somebody out. It's like we all in a ship. Somebody got to jump off that ship and swim just to tell the story of what happened. Or somebody to be able to pull off to go grab something so that we can pull people out of the water. So sometimes you got to be selfish to help somebody else. You can't. There's just no way. If we all just drown in the ship and nobody jump, who gonna tell the story? Who gonna be able to try? And see, that's the key. When we got a lot of people that's doing things, don't get me wrong, now there is a lot of success in the Black community, don't get me wrong, and we're getting there as we supposed to, but yet we keep missing out on the opportunity that is in front of us that we can't see. We get caught up in the emotions of things. See, the Democratic Party has gotten us so emotional attached to things, where it is we can't see the economic part of it ourselves. You know what I'm saying? It's like, here it is, like I was just writing about something else, but let's look at it from an economic, I just mentioned to you earlier about an economic infrastructure. If you take these Black actors, leaders, ball players, and all these different guys, and you assign them to a certain community, right? Sign them to a certain community. Say, okay, you're responsible for this, and you're responsible for that area, this area here. If they do their part instead of buying a whole bunch of cars, and some people might say, well, that's their money, they can do what they want to do. Some say that. Okay, but then if you're not going to hold us accountable, how can you not hold them accountable? So we must be held accountable for going back of that selfish, like I mentioned to you earlier. Because they made it, now it's okay. You done already stepped out of the box of being selfish. Now, since you have done that, you got to come back and grab somebody out. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm not saying you give somebody something. I'm saying you build an infrastructure that'll allow people to elevate from one stage to the next. I'm not saying you give, because that's our thing. We're waiting for somebody to give us something. Well, we must have an infrastructure that is created so we can compete. We're not competing, and that's our thing. How can you compete with somebody? I mean, how can you have these things that you think that we're supposed to have if you're not competing? And here it is, and I got to go down. I was trying to avoid saying it, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it anyway. Here it is. You had Donald Trump. Now, a lot of people get mad as soon as that word comes out, but understand what I'm saying. Now, see, so many years we've been so emotionally attached to politicians. We was attached when Obama was here and we got nothing out of it. It was just emotional. It was inspiring to see that. That's great. I voted for him in 2008 just as well, but I didn't see anything that was built on economics that would allow us to elevate. And so you talk about, here it is, Trump created a platform. It was a $200 billion initiative for Black-owned business. I mean, for the Black community to go into impoverished neighborhood, to go in and rebuild that community. He was giving loans out for you to do that. So we talk about gentrification. That's the word people use. So, but here's the thing: Black people was told not to go negotiate with Trump, not to go talk to Trump about anything. Okay. So if Black folks don't go talk to Trump and at a community about getting some of that money to go into your community and rebuild it, somebody of other color gonna get it, and then you call it gentrification when you was offered the opportunity to get it before they did.
Now I remember something. A while ago. People were giving Ice Cube flack for going and having a discussion with Mr. Trump.
Case, I don't know what I'm one more time, brother.
A while ago, people were giving Ice Cube flack for going and have a conversation with Mr. Trump.
I can't hear you. Something going wrong. I'm getting pizzas over here.
That's okay. Go ahead. I said Ice Cube was having a discussion with Mr. Trump.
I think we got one more time.
Ice Cube. Got that?
Did you say Ice Cube?
Yes. Was having a
yeah.
He went and had a discussion with Mr. Trump.
Right.
And people
if I'm not mistaken, I think you're talking about the $500 billion initiative that Trump was getting ready to do. He is and on August 8th, he signed an executive order for $500 billion. And that was the one he sat down with Ice Cube on. But the 200 had already been dealt with early on a couple of years ago. They were doing a $500 billion initiative, giving opportunities for Blacks to start businesses and building this infrastructure that I'm talking about, And so the thing was, he signed the executive order, but I guess it wasn't going to implement until he got back in office, just like he signed that CARE Act for the people to get the money for the pandemic, that second wave. But Nancy Pelosi held that up in Congress. You got the two branches of government. Congress is the one that actually fund. The president signs the executive order, but they have to release the funds. So yeah. So did I answer your question on it?
Yeah, I was saying that. I was kind of wondering why. Because you're saying that it was good or beneficial to have a talk with President Trump, but people were giving Ice Cube flack for going to have conversation with him.
Right. And so was Steve Harvey. Remember, as soon as he got in office, Steve Harvey went in to meet with him, which I believe that would have been better than anybody else who would have sat down, because the kind of person Steve Harvey is, the kind of business type person he is. Then also you got to understand his level of how he moves about, his personality, and things like that. So he would have done a much better conversation with him because of who he is. I'll say that.
Gotcha. Yeah, we're having some technical difficulties.
And so there were a lot of people catching.
Yeah, this thing is having some technical difficulties. I guess they're telling me I need to go and get the paid version, huh? Can you hear me? I said, I guess it's telling me I need to go get the paid version of Zoom and not the free version. We're having so many technical difficulties on this free version. But let's get in why I got you, man. I appreciate your insight on. Let's get into some of your book right quick, because I know your time is valuable. Democratic Coma. Democratic Coma. How did this book come about?
One more time.
Democratic Coma. How did this book, how did it come about?
I'm not hearing you all the way, brother. Democratic Coma. You want me to talk about it?
Yes, there you go. Yes, sir.
Okay, got it. So going back to our early conversation, Democratic Coma was basically a book about my life and my experience waking up realizing that all this time that I was not paying attention, I was in the Democratic Coma. Coma meaning I was asleep. I wasn't paying attention to politics. I didn't know what was going on. I was just going by my own daily life, you know what I'm saying, as people do. The thought of politics had never came to my mind. None of those things were just in my mind. I was just doing what I normally do with my life. And so again, it was that challenge. Like in the beginning of the book, I kind of tell you that experience. And then once I started to do a lot of research, and I did about 5 to 6 years research, I was discovering and talking and meeting and researching all this stuff, man. And it was just an eye opening. I was like, wow, this is a coma. See, some people think that the book was written for me criticizing Blacks. No, it was me realizing that all this time I was asleep. I had been a patient of the Democratic Party. I was their patient, transformed to voting. And that's how I explain it. And there's a chapter in it talks about the making of a patient. And so that's what I was doing. They had made me into a patient, believing that they were going to do something. So you got to understand that a lot of people don't understand the party itself builds hope. That their platform is all about hope. It's not to give you something. It's to make you believe I'm going to deliver something to you so that you can be put on hold and believe and wait for it. And so all while you put on hold and waiting for something to arrive, it never will. And all they do is start the process of, hey, the reason why we couldn't do it because, hey, the Republican Party did this to it. They didn't do this to it. That's the whole plan. It's all about hope. And that hope started years ago when they were talking about, all these different things. They were, and it all started back. I can go back to Lyndon Johnson when he was talking about, I don't know if you remember this phrase that he used at one time. I'm going to have these niggas voting Democrat for the next 200 years. Mm-hmm. This is what and so the idea was not to really deliver you anything. It's to make you believe that I'm going to give you something. And as long as I make you believe that, you will keep voting to keep me in office because I have sold you this dream. Mm. And so when I say this dream, you get away from your dream. And so you got to understand what a dream is. A dream is, a dream is something you're asleep, and that's, again, going back to that coma. And so while you're asleep, you wake up and not realizing that you actually living in somebody else's dream. No. See, that's what employees, that's what we do as employees. When we work for somebody, we're working in their dream. We're performing our unique ability in their dream. A ball player, that's his dream inside somebody else's dream. You understand what I'm saying? If I make a movie, if I'm a director of a movie, or what's the brother name? Let's just say Oprah
Spike
Winfrey,
Lee.
any of these. Yes, Spike. Let's just say Spike Lee. Well, whatever movie was written was his dream, and he calls the actors in to perform in his dream. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what we're doing. And so, but we got to get past the fact that let's even say this. And so all these businesses that we have that are out there, most of us are working for other people in their dreams.
Well,
and so that's not freedom. See?
Aren't we all, in a sense, working for God and characters in his dream?
And I'm glad you said, yes, we are all working in God's dream. In fact, like I spelled out in the second book, The Beneficiary, history, the definition of history is his story, not ours. It's God's story. We all have a story in his story, but we all have a story to tell. But there is no story without us telling the story. We are only here to tell his story. You have a walk with God. I have a walk with God. We all have a walk with God, but understand it is his history. It's his story. And we just here to tell it. If nobody's here to tell his story, what experience we had with him today, then when we get ready to tell somebody, when the next generation come, and nobody tells the story, what their experience was, what God gave, what God was, what God was able to do for you, then they would have no hope that God existed. See, you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So we all walking with God. This, we all, and God, and we're all, and what happens is in history is God is walking with each one of us, showing us around, showing us the things that we can do. That's what the history, that's all it is, showing us what everybody else has done. Now, after he show you what everybody else done, now he show you, okay, now, out of all that, now you pick and choose. You choose where you want to go. Choose your path. Choose your journey. You understand what I'm saying? And so that's the thing. And then that goes back to the first book to this book, is that we're not choosing our path. We're not recognizing that we are actually walking with God, and that this is his story. And we all in it. We all play a part of his story. We are the narrator of his story. And we all here to tell it. You know what I'm saying? And that's just really the bottom line. Everybody is given a gift through that process. In that history, in history, you are given a purpose. He is showing you where your gift lies, your talent lies, your unique ability lies, and then you go for it. And that's just it. Think about it. The whole world was created for us to take control of it, to be in charge of it. Why should we, as the minority, be sitting here waiting on somebody else that is a man too to show us around, to tell us what we can have, to depend on him? If you're going to depend on somebody, you depend on God.
Well,
you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand very well what you're saying. But to be honest now, after we've been broken down, and I'm not using this as an excuse, but it's so much of a valid point that we can't inexcuse it, because we were beaten down and trodden down and made to be inferior, or made to think that we are inferior. It takes a while to break that stamina out of the mind, correct?
I guarantee you 90% of what you just said, I didn't hear you, brother.
Can you hear me now? How is that? Is that better?
Slow down one more time. Go again.
Is that better?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm not using this as an excuse, but the point is so valid that I have to mention it. Because we were stripped of our ability to think for ourselves. Matter of fact, we were stripped of our ability to think. And because we were force-fed what to think, after we were denied the ability to think with ourselves, doesn't it take more than just after being out of slavery for 200 years, maybe 300, at them 400 years, it takes a while to break that mindset, doesn't it?
I guarantee you. I didn't hear you. I'm trying my best.
I don't know, y'all. Once again, I apologize to everybody out there that's viewing that cannot hear. I don't know what's wrong with you. Can you hear me now? Is that better?
It's not the volume. It's. I don't know. It's my. It could be my reception. I'm not sure. Possibly couldn't be.
It's okay. You know what? It was crazy. It was sounding fine when we pre-recorded. You know what I'm saying? But now that we're live, we're having difficulties. Wow.
Let me see if I can pull it up another kind of way.
No, it's okay.
I definitely want to hear what you guys say. I've been waiting for this conversation for a long time.
No, I'm saying, right. How about that? Can you hear me better now? I think it may be the live streaming. You know, it may be the live streaming which causing the delay because I got so many.
I don't know why I can hear you now. Do it again. Just talk.
Can you hear me now?
A little bit.
Okay. What I was saying is, because we were stripped from our right or our ability to think and to move and have for ourselves, and then we were force-fed what to think for so long, don't we have to give a little bit more grace to us after only being out of slavery for what, 400 years?
I think it sounds like you saying that because of I think I'm getting that you saying that because of the fact how we got here. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. I can't really hear you, but I'm picking the word.
I do apologize.
Because of how we got here, our ability to it may take a little bit more time. Maybe that's what you're trying to say.
Yeah, shouldn't it take a little bit more time?
I'm not sure what you're saying.
That's it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, okay. I'm thinking that's what you're saying. That yes, you're right. But we really could have achieved these goals by now if we would have had our own people be held responsible for their part in this plight of America. We're not taking on our part of it, but we support our people that have succeeded. And so when I'm going back to the leaders, I'm going back to the ball players and entertainers, the people like that. Tyler Perry is probably the only person that I really can, and don't get me wrong, because people will look at this and say, well, no, there's other people. That's LeBron James and all that. Listen, Tyler Perry to me is one of the greatest humanitarian person that I can actually speak of that's actually doing it, you know, and he do less talking and he does his job. And so yes, I agree with you. But if you had more of those who have left and did their part, we would be somewhere else. And I'm gonna give you an example. And a lot of people that have not looked at this. Maybe I'm talking fast. Maybe that might be the reason why the delay. We talking fast. Look at this from a point. Here it is. We had in Obama, right, for 8 years, and so. When you are the president of the United States of America, you are in the most powerful position on the planet. Let's just say it that way, because America dictates all the, we are typically over all of these countries. We are in their countries. We are doing things. We can stop a war, start a war at any given time, you know, and most of them depends on us for aid, money, whatever that is. Now, understand the next part I'm about to say, and everybody needs to understand this for clear purposes. An attorney general on the federal level, that means the AG on the federal level, is the highest police and the highest lawyer in America. I want you to stop and think about that first. Obama brought in 2 of them. The first 4 years, he had Loretta Lynch. The second person he had was Eric Holder. You remember what I just said. They are the highest police officer, the highest lawyer. That means he's over the judge and police, brother. Man, if you over all the police and all the judges, all this stuff that we talk about, police brutality, should have been ceased by now. We should not be seeing the stuff that we're seeing. Any laws that could have been changed should have been under that AG. Anytime you got a black president, you got a black attorney general at a federal level. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here criticizing Obama. I'm just sitting here pointing out something.
Well, the fact of the matter is that he didn't work for Obama. I see what you're saying. If I'm the president and this is the attorney general that I select, then he should be working in the pursuit of the things that I'm working in, right? Because that's the reason why I hired him, because he's following my visions and my goal, correct?
You went out on me, that last part.
No.
Went out.
If I hire an attorney general, that means I'm hiring him because he supports me, right?
I can't hear it. I can't hear that part.
Wow.
I'm not sure. Man, I want this conversation,
man,
bro.
You know what? I tell you what. Let's do this. Let's do this. I'm gonna end this live, okay? And what we're gonna do, bro? We're gonna have to have this conversation again. We're just gonna have to just record it, and then I'll upload it, because you're saying some things. Hold on for a second. Hold. Don't go nowhere, Virgil. You just stay right there where you are. Don't go nowhere. Just stay right there where you are. Look, viewers, I'm sorry, man. We having some technical difficulties. It's not fair to me. It's not fair to you. It's not fair to my guests. What I'm going to do is I'm going to end this live there, and we're going to come back. Hopefully, I can get Mr. Virgil on again, Mr. Brannon on next week, and I can get some things tweaked out, because this is a very much needed conversation. But for those of you that stuck in and stuck by so far, I appreciate you, man. Like I said, I'm going to end this live, and what we're going to do next time, we'll just pre-record it. That way we can make sure everything is done in the post-production.
I want to know so bad.
So till the next time I see y'all, man, hey, man, love on somebody, man, and always be a blessing to somebody, okay? Next time I see you, long.
Like this, like this, like this.